Good morning, students. So, today we are going to start the chapter 2 in business studies, that is, the forms of business organizations. Forms of business organization. So, in this chapter, we are going to study what are the different forms of business organization. Okay. So in every business enterprises, all the business enterprises is an organization. You already studied. What is the main aim? So the main aim of any business organization is carrying out the business activity or commercial activity. So every business organization is termed as a separate and distinct unit of the business. Every business enterprises is a separate and distinct unit of business. So every business entity, that is every business enterprises, having separate forms of business organization to carry out their activities. Okay. So business enterprises may be classified into three broad categories. The first one is private sector enterprises, second one is public sector enterprises, and third one is joint sector enterprises. First one is private sector enterprises, second one is public sector enterprises, and third one is joint sector enterprises. And the private sector enterprises, it's subdivided into two parts. One is non-corporate enterprises and corporate enterprises. Okay, so in non-corporate enterprises, there is a three type of business organization. One is the sole proprietorship, second one is the partnership firm, and third one is a joint Hindu family business. And corporate enterprises is subdivided into two type of business organization. One is the cooperative societies and next one is joint stock companies. Okay, so first we are going to study about the first category, that is the private sector enterprises. So in private sector enterprises, the first one is the non-corporate enterprises. So in non-corporate enterprises, there is three categories of business organization. No, that is a sole proprietorship, partnership firm, and joint Hindu family business. Okay, so before starting to study about this sole proprietorship, first we have to know what is mean by the private sector enterprises. So the business enterprises which are controlled and managed by the private individuals are called as private sector enterprises. So this enterprises having the main motive of earning the profit. Okay, so some of the companies are Reliance, Tata Company, Wipro. So the multinational companies having the main aim of earning the profit. So business enterprises which are owned, controlled and managed by the private individuals are called as private sector enterprises. Okay, the next one is public sector enterprises. So the business enterprises which are controlled and managed by the central and the state government is known as the public sector enterprises. So their main motive of their business activity is providing the services. That is, for example, that is LIC and other some of the companies which is working or they are doing their activity under the control of the government. So that enterprises are called as public sector enterprises. Okay, third one is a joint sector enterprises. So the business enterprises which are owned, controlled and managed jointly by the private entrepreneur and the government. That enterprises are called joint sector enterprises. So in this enterprises, the day-to-day management is in the hand of the private entrepreneurs, whereas the government control and supervision is by the members in the board of directors. Okay, so in this business enterprises, the day-to-day management lies with the hand of the private entrepreneurs, whereas the government control and supervision by the members, by its members in the board of directors. Okay, that is the joint sector enterprises. So in non-corporate enterprises, that is coming under the private sector, the first one is the sole proprietorship. So first we are going to study about what is mean by the sole proprietorship and what are all the features and how the business activities is carried out by the sole proprietorship and what are the advantages, nature and limitations of this business organization. Okay. See the first one, sole proprietorship. First you have to know in this word itself, sole proprietor. Sole is the one, proprietor is the owner. So there is in this business organization there is only one owner. The business managed and controlled by the single individual is known as the sole proprietorship organization. Okay. So next we are going to see about some of the features of sole proprietorship. Features is also called as a characteristics or nature or scope or importance, okay, and advantages. So we can write these points in all these headings. So the first one is the formation and closure. The first feature of sole proprietorship is formation and closure. So in this sole proprietorship, there are no such legal formalities which is required by the which are required in this organization to start and close the business organization if it is a sole proprietorship. So there is no separate law which is framed by the government to form the business. So only in some cases a license must be required. So in certain business activity only in the sole proprietorship the license is needed. But for the other type of business activity, so the forming of sole proprietorship and closing is very simple. So it is one of the feature of the sole proprietorship. Okay. The next one is unlimited liability. The next one is unlimited liability. So in sole proprietorship, the proprietor is personally liable. Liable means, so what are all the debt? Debt means that is the loan. The loan that is bought by the sole proprietorship owner from the financial institution. So he is the only one individual person forming this business organization. So what are all the loan he obtained from the financial institution, he is responsible. Liable means responsible to repay the debt. Debt means loan. Okay, so he is liable or responsible to repay the debt or loan to that financial institution, including the certain rate of interest. Okay, so in case of the business losses, if the business assets are not sufficient, so in order to repay the loan, he is the individual owner, no? So he can utilize his own asset which is invested in his business. So in certain case, if there is a loss in his business and if the business assets are not sufficient to meet all the business liability, at that time the proprietor has all the right to sell his personal property, because he is the individual owner. So he is having the full right to sell his personal property to repay the liabilities to the financial institutions. That is the unlimited liability, just called as unlimited liability, and is coming under one of the feature of sole proprietorship. Okay. The next one is that is sole risk bearing and profit recipient. So in sole proprietorship, the whole risk is to be managed by the single individual only, that is the owner. What are all any risk, it may be the natural risk or certain other economical causes. What are all the causes? We already studied some of the causes of business risk. So what are all any causes which he is responsible, and he is the single individual person, so he is responsible and he is liable to face that risk. Okay va? So the sole benefit, that is in the, even if it is a risk or if any benefit, so the benefit is enjoyed by the single person only. Okay, so if there are losses or profit, that person has the full right to bear the loss. If it is a profit, he is the only person to enjoy the benefit. Okay va? That is the individual risk bearing and profit recipient. Okay, so the next one is that is the sole risk bearer and risk recipient. Okay, next one is the control factor. So there is the only one individual, there is an individual person, is a single owner. So the proprietor is the sole owner of the firm. So the proprietor means who is the person? That is the owner. He is the owner of this single person, and he is the owner of the firm, and he has full control on his business activity. So the ownership and the management lies in whose hand? Lies in the hand of one person only. So some persons or manager may be employed. So some other person, he has the right to employ the other persons as an employee to help the sole proprietor, that is the owner. But ultimate control is only with the hand of the sole trader, that is the sole proprietor himself. He is having the all right to give the employment to other person as an employee, but the ultimate control is with the whose hand? Only with the sole proprietor, that is the one man control. Okay, that is the one man control. The next one is no separate legal entity. No separate legal entity for the business form. So there is no separate legal entity because it is a sole proprietorship. So there is no legal identity and separate form for that owner. So there is law makes some of the differences. So if it is a sole proprietor, the laws which is created by the government is not in that much of level. Okay, well, so because the sole proprietor, mostly the business, what is the type of business? Definitely it may, the 99% it is only a small scale business activity only. If it is a large scale business, definitely the amount of capital invested is much more higher when compared to the sole proprietor. I am right. So there is no separate legal formalities in this business organization. Okay, next one is the lack of business continuity. So since the business and the owner are the only one person, so if there is that is, if some of the incident, that is if there is unexpected death of the owner or insolvency position. Insolvency means, we will study in the accounts, that is insolvency position of the business firm means the person is not able to repay the debt which is obtained from the financial institution. If the person is not able to repay the debt, and if the person is not having the sufficient fund to repay the debt which is obtained from the financial institution, at that time the person becomes the insolvent person. that is the position is called as insolvency position. Okay, and incapacity, it is the at that case the person not able to continue the business activity, that is the lack of business continuity. Okay, so it will definitely affect the existence of, that is carrying out the business activity continuously. Okay, so these are all the features of sole proprietorship. Okay, so next we are going to see some of the merits of sole proprietorship. What are all the merits? The first one is quick decision making. Quick decision making. So in sole proprietorship, from all the decisions are taken by the proprietor, that is the owner. So he is not supposed to consult. There is no chance to consult. There is, he is not supposed to. There is no compulsory for the person to consult anyone to waste the time to take any decisions relating to the business activity. So there is a quick decision. By quick decision, the immediate actions can be taken, which brings the flexibility of operational, that is operating to operate the business activity very successfully by taking the quick decisions. So by taking the quick decisions without consulting any other person, he can able to start the business activity, and he can able to, if it is possible, if there is any possible, he can able to take some of the changes. He can decide by himself to change some of the ideas and policies which is framed by himself. Okay, so there is no delay, and he can adapt the business activity quickly, and he can change the policies as per the changes in the business environment. That is a quick decision. It is one of the merit of sole proprietorship firm. Okay, the next one is confidentiality of information. So the sole proprietorship is not expected to share his secret. So there is no need of sharing the secret with others. So there is no legal compulsion for the sole proprietor to share his accounts which is maintained in his organization. So all the decisions are taken by the proprietor, no? So it is very easy. So it becomes very easy for him to maintain the secrecy of the all the activities which is carried out by him in the business organization, and he can able to make that decisions which is or planning activity in a more competitive manner, and its planning activities also in a strengthful, because there is no options to discuss with the other persons. So all the decisions taken by the one person, so definitely it in a good strength. Okay, that is the confidentiality. And next, third one is direct incentive. What is a direct incentive? So there is a direct relationship between the efforts and reward. So what are all the efforts? And there is what is the effort? Because the only person he is doing all the work, and he is the only person putting all the effort in the business organization, and all the that is from the first stage, that is we already studied in the last chapter, no, how to start the business organization. That is some of the steps. What are all the factors which is needed to start the business organization? So all the process, he is the only person, he can do by himself. He finished all the work, putting all the effort, and what is the reward? That is the result. Even if it is a positive or negative, if it is the positive means he will earn the profit. If it is a negative means, so there may be some of the losses. Okay, so what is the result? If it is a good or bad, all the result, he is only the person, he is enjoying all the benefits. Okay, so there is a direct incentive to the sole proprietor. So he is always motivated. He himself motivated to do his activity in a better manner. Okay, that is the one of the merit of the sole proprietorship. Next one is sense of accomplishment. That is, there is a personal satisfaction. So in sole proprietor, so there is no such compulsion to discuss with the other person, no. So what are all the activities, even if it is a negative impact or positive impact, if it is a negative, he is learning from that negative impact. He will learn how to improve himself. So there is a personal satisfaction which is involved in the working for oneself. So the success in the business not only contributes to the self satisfaction, but also instills in the individual a sense of confidence, that is a sense of accomplishment and the confidence which is created in the sole proprietorship. So only it is coming under the merits of sole proprietorship firm. Okay, and next, easy to form and dissolve, that is the closure. It is very easy, we already studied in the future itself. That is, it is very easy to form because there is no legal formalities which is involved to set up the sole proprietorship form. It is not governed by any specific law which is implemented by the government, and if he not able to continue the business activity, he is having the full right to close the business without any legal formality. Okay, so it is coming under the merits of sole proprietorship. So what are all the headings? First one is the quick decision, next one is the confidentiality, third one is the direct incentive, fourth one is a sense of accomplishment, and easy to form and closure. These are all the merits or advantages of sole proprietorship firm. Okay, the next one is some of the limitations. So since there is many merits and advantages of sole proprietorship, still there is some of the disadvantages or limitations in sole proprietorship firm. Okay, so the first one is limited resources. So when comparing to other business organization, the resources, the finance which is invested by the person, that is the sole proprietor, is comparing to the other business organization, it is in a limited. It is the limit because he can able to invest how much he can able to, how much resources which is available with him, that amount can able to invest in the business. Okay, so it is the in finance factor, it is supplied by the proprietor himself. From which resources? From only from his own wealth, that is from the personal property, or from the borrowings. If it is the borrowings, he is the only person who is liable to pay his debt. So even if it is a private personal property or borrowings, he is only responsible. So the resources is very limited. Okay, and when comparing to the other business organization, the credit facility which is provided by the financial institution is at a limited level only. Okay, because they will see some of the they will take, there is a separate norms which is created by the financial institutions. They will check all the documents, whether the person can able to repay that amount. If it is a large amount, they will check with that form of business activity and what is the business or what is the form of business and what is the product manufacture, whether the product will be reached to the consumers or not, whether it will be a continuity, whether the business activity will continue for more than 1 year or 2 years. All the norms, if all the norms are satisfied with that business organization, only the financial institution will provide the loan. I am right. So if the requirements is not fulfilled, if the norms which is not fulfilled by the financial institution, they will reduce the amount of providing the loan to that sole proprietorship. So at that time, there is only the limited resources. He will have only the limited resources to invest that amount in the business activity. So only it is coming under the limitations of sole proprietorship. Okay, the next one is limited life. So limited life means the survival and the continuity of the sole proprietorship firm depends only on the one person. So if some cases, if after 1 to 2 or 3 months, if the sole proprietor falls in the, that is due to the sickness, due to the personal sickness, or if he is becoming insolvent, and the insolvent means that is he is not able to repay the debt, then at that time the business comes to an end. So the life of the business activity is very limited, is at a very short term period. Sole proprietorship firm is a short term business organization. The period is very short period when comparing to the other business organization. So it is coming under the limitations of sole proprietorship firm. And another one is the unlimited liability. So the sole proprietor is himself is personally liable, no? So he is personally liable to pay all the debt which is obtained from the financial institution. So in the case of heavy loss, suddenly if there is a heavy loss which is incurred by the sole proprietorship, at that time he will lose all his business asset, because in order to pay the debt to the financial institution, he should sell that all his personal property, that is the asset. Only selling the personal asset he can able to pay the debt to the financial institution. I am right. So it is the unlimited liability. Unlimited liability is coming in the futures, and also it is coming in the limitation of sole proprietorship. Okay. And next one is limited managerial skill. Limited managerial skill. That is, all the activities in sole proprietorship firm, all the activities are performed by a single individual. So a single individual cannot be the expert in all the fields. So there is a different process, no? In the business organization, there is a different process to selecting the product, to continue the manufacturing, what are the raw materials needed, how to implement the plant and machinery equipments in the business, how to purchase the equipments, what technologies should we have to adapt to install the plant and machinery, where to purchase the plant and machinery, how much resources we need to invest to start the business activity, and requirement of the employees. In order to select the employees, there is a separate procedure. Having the selecting the employees and giving the training, there is a separate cost which is incurred by the business organization. There's a lot of an interior work, supply of electricity, where to obtain the electricity, a lot of expenses they have to met with to start the business organization. So if to do all this process, if there is only one owner, but the owner, there is the percentage of availability, the skill and talent. So the efficiency cannot expert in all, the single individual cannot be expert in all the fields. So he may be the good salesperson, but not a good manager. So at that time, so there is very difficult to continue the business activity. Okay. So even if it is he is a sole proprietor, but he is the only one person, so he cannot able to appoint a specialized and expert employees, because for that person he is liable to pay certain remuneration to the salaries to the employees, no? So at that time also he is liable to face some of the expenses. So even if it is a small or a large sized firm, there is certain separate cost. The business person have to incur that cost in order to develop the business organization. I am right. So the single person cannot be expert in all the fields. to develop this business organization. So only it is coming under one of the limitations of sole proprietorship firm. Okay. So in disadvantages or limitations: limited resources, limited life of business, unlimited liability, and limited managerial skill. So these are the limitations of sole proprietorship firm. Okay, so today's class we started the new chapter. Okay, so new chapter, that is the forms of business organization. And in this chapter we studied there is a private sector enterprises and public sector enterprises, and private sector enterprises is coming under the non-corporate enterprises. There is divided into three categories: sole proprietorship, partnership, and joint Hindu family business. And today we completed the first category in the non-corporate enterprises, that is a sole proprietorship, and we studied about what is meant by sole proprietorship business organization, what are all the features, advantages, and limitations. Okay, so next class we will continue with the next topic, that is the partnership firm and joint Hindu family business. Okay students, so take the notes and write as a on what you understood from this topic, what is mean by that is a private sector enterprises, what is mean by public sector, and what is mean by joint ventures. And write about sole proprietorship firm, features, importance, and limitations with the proper heading. Okay, thank you students.